5:30, fighting for funding. A decision to go virtual and keep its kids home for the first marking period could end up costing one of the state's largest school districts millions of dollars. Channel 3 New Haven Bureau Chief Matt McFarland is live with the mobile newsroom in the Elm City with all the details. Matt.
Well, hi there, Aaron. You know, New Haven's COVID inspection team, they were actually here at Hill House High School earlier today. They were checking the ventilation systems, going over the signage, making sure they have the plexiglass for when they eventually reopen schools here in New Haven. Now, the Board of Ed decided last month it would start the first 10 weeks remote. And while there are some cost savings for the districts, there are also financial implications. Now, the possibility was brought up earlier this week during New Haven's Board of Ed meeting that it could lose more than $2 million in state funding. Now, based off the district's decision to start the school year off with remote learning for the first marking period, it's saving money by not having to hire part-time staff, not having the utilities on, also cutting in hours for its custodial crews. But there are costs. There's drops in magnet school enrollment and lower food service revenue. And then here's the big one. By starting the year remote, they could lose out a portion of the second round of COVID funding for transportation. Now, the governor has a pot of more than $5 million he can use at his discretion to help school districts operate during the pandemic. But the thought is by not physically being in school or needing to bus kids, well, New Haven's needs change. But New Haven Mayor Justin ELICKER, who also sits on the Board of Education, says many of the costs the district is dealing with as it's getting set to reopen, well, he says they're not going away.
The governor has reached out and said, what do we need to do to help you get back to school? I have a call into the Commissioner of Education, Department of Education as well. My hope is that we can work together to ensure that we have adequate funding resources to help us open up.
Now, the state has been encouraging New Haven to get their kids back into the classroom, including Governor Lamont even sort of calling out New Haven during an earlier COVID update this week. We're going to have that part of the story coming up tonight at 5:30. We're live with the mobile newsroom in New Haven. Matt McFarland, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.